Hey everyone, it's Chris from Crypto Power Tips here, bringing you back another video on an ICO called Ice Rock Mining. This is going to be a long video, and before I begin, I just want to say that the only reason why this video is coming out is because of the people in the Discord requesting that a video be made. Some of the people in our Discord have money tied up in this project. Some were considering it, and I'm making the video on their behalf. If you have another project that you're considering investing into heavily and you want someone to vet the project for you or do some research or provide you some information unbiased, go into the Discord. Our link is in the description down below. Any request we'll try to fulfill and on your behalf. With that being said, let's take a look at Ice Rock Mining. Um, what is Ice Rock Mining? Ice Rock Mining is basically a Bitcoin mining ASIC using a mining farm located in Kazakhstan. They have their own coin. It's called Rock 2, and it's on the Ethereum blockchain. And they plan to raise enough funds by the sale of their coin to purchase a large amount of Asics. And once they have X amount of Asics, then they'll use the revenue attributed from those Asics to pay back the holders of the coin. So basically, you come to the website, you buy some of their currency using Bitcoin or Ethereum, and they give you some of their currency. And when they get the Asics up and running, they make payments to you. Now, the way that they do this is using a smart contract on the Ethereum blockchain. So essentially, you sign up at their website, you can give them the address to send and verify your amount of holdings of Rock 2, and then they send you payments using in Ethereum. They don't send you payments in Bitcoin. So they mine Bitcoin, convert Bitcoin to Ethereum, make payments back to the coin holders. Whew, okay, that was a lot. Now, that's basically what Ice Rock Mining is, and their mining facility is located in a cold cave in Kazakhstan, hence the name Ice Rock Mining. So their electricity costs are relatively low. They have a couple of reasons why they chose that, but I wouldn't say that it's primary because it's not like they moved there or went there because it's the perfect place. A portion of the team is actually Kazakhstani, so it wasn't like they went out of their way. But let's kind of like look at things unbiased. And throughout the video, I'm going to be giving you my opinion on some of the things we see and talk about. And keep in mind that my opinion is my own based on the research that I've done, and you can come to your own conclusions, and I encourage you to do your own due diligence. So first things first is data room. Now, data room is essentially a bunch of contracts in here. Now, the problem with these contracts is that they're all written in Russian, which is the native language of the Kazakhstani people, which is fine, but none of them are in English, so we can't verify what these even say, let alone whether or not they're real. This could all be fake. There's no way of knowing. No way of knowing. The problem is that the links to these are written in English, but the actual documents are all written in Russian. Now, I'll pull up some of these documents so that you can see. I mean, some of these titles are in Russian, so you can tell. But yeah, you can't read any of this. Not a thing. So unless you have someone who's Russian can translate this for you, or you feel like copying this all and like putting it through a translator for some rough understanding, then take that with a grain of salt. Moving on, data room, that's done. So we talk about the calculator. We're just going to click this. I'm going to come back to this. Calculator, projected return. So if you invest, they're saying here, this is what their claims are. If you invest $100, you'll get 145 Rock 2. This part of their calculations isn't true. This is just a conversion. The reason why you get 145 Rock 2 is because they have a bonus. Now, if you invest later on, then you get less coins, and they're basically giving you free coins. On top of whatever you pay. Now, each coin, you can only invest a minimum of $100. Each coin is valued at $1 by their opinion, not because of the free market. Their coin is not released on any exchange or anything like that. This is an ICO, and their calculations of what you'll earn here are extremely off, extremely off, and not just because this calculator was built at a price estimation of 14K Bitcoin. Even at 14K Bitcoin, these price estimations are completely off. Just for the understanding, and we're going to go through the calculations, but just keep in mind that these calculations at 45% bonus and $100, they're about four times they're multiplied by 4. So this is the value that you see. So if you want to get the real amount that you'd get at today's rate, just divide this by 4, and that's what you're actually probably making a month for your $100 investment. Now that $100 investment is if you manage to invest during the 45% bonus. If you happen to get these coins when this bonus ends and you start buying up coins, then you're going to be getting less than that 1/4. You're actually only going to get 45% less of whatever your 1/4 is, and that's the reality at today's rate. When I say 1/4, that's today's Bitcoin mining rate for Asics. And Bitcoin has dropped quite a bit, so you know, it may even be a little bit less than 1/4 currently. Bitcoin fluctuates, just as everyone knows, and you know, these guys are making calculators for Bitcoin that's 4 times higher in valuation, which would exceed the all-time highs of what Bitcoin has actually reached. You can do the numbers, and I'm going to break down some of the calculations here for you to, you know, funnel through that. But we're going to just continue on for now. White paper. So white paper. In this white paper, I don't really have any problems with it. I like that the white paper is extremely long. I like that they have it in multiple languages. My problem is that they did their white paper in multiple languages, but they didn't do their contracts in multiple languages. Seems a bit lazy. And if you come down to the white paper and you scroll down for a bit, you'll see a couple of things that stand out, but everything else is like basically run-of-the-mill ICO legal protection jargon. So if you go down here, there's 2 things that stuck out that I didn't like. One, the private pre-sale. Very little information on that particular bit. And just keep in mind, this is my speculation, but I believe from what the support team told me that about 1.5 million coins were sold, and the bonus rate was a 50%. So they gave away a 50% bonus on the private presale that us normal folk didn't have access to. Us normal folk only have access to the main presale, which is between these dates and time and for these bonuses, and the main ICO, which is between these dates and time and these bonuses. This whole model is just like scummy. Like, if you ask me, why do you have a private presale, a presale, and a main sale? It's like having a private pre-release of a video game, and then have a pre-release of a video game, and then have the actual release of the video game. It's like an announcement of an announcement of an announcement. It's just like how much money are you trying to get, you know? And with this particular situation, when you have a private presale, it's extremely bad because it's private. No one knows what's going on behind the scenes. Now, you can speculate that there was multiple investors, but I believe otherwise, and I have some reasons as to why I believe otherwise. I believe that one controlling group got a certain amount of the coins and in the private pre-sale, and I don't think they paid for them. Now, these claims are very serious because this is a lot of people's money on the line. But I have a couple of reasons of why I believe that. But we're gonna go through the rest of this white paper. Now, keep in mind, I'm not going to talk about every single bit. All I'm going to say is the couple of things that stuck out. Now, you can go. I've read this white paper twice, top to bottom, and that took a lot of my human earth time left on this earth. If you want to do the same, you can, but I only suggest you to do that if you plan on investing in this company. If you don't plan on investing, do not waste your time. A lot of this stuff is run in the mill. They're talking about their project, they're talking about what it is they're trying to do, and they're ending the white paper with legal jargon to protect them, just in case somebody tried to come after them legally, just like with all ICOs. Woodland Networks LP, you know, this could essentially be a shell company. That's what I believe it is. I don't think that this is a real, you know, 10-year, 15-year company. I think this is just a shell for ice rock mining to operate under. But you take that as you will. As we go down, we have ice rock mining. It is a project. This is the core other piece that I want to point out, other than the private presale. This is another piece that bothers me. IceRock Mining is a project offering to buy a share in the mining business and to receive an income every month as a co-owner of a large-scale project. Our company will accredit your dividends in accordance with the smart contract and your share in the project. Okay, so when they say it is a project offering to buy a share in the mining business and to receive income every month as a co-owner of a large-scale project, that is a lie. Okay, you're getting dividends because you hold their currency and because they're deciding to pay you. You will not have any legal standing if you were to ever take them to court of law, because it's not equity, it's not securities, you don't own shares in the business. You own shares of a currency they created. And holy crap, do you know that their currency is called Rock 2? Rock 2. It's a rock. If I got a, this is essentially if I got a pile of rocks, right? If I went outside my house and I got a pile of rocks, I put them in front of me and I said, hey, listen, I will give you these special rocks. Okay, I want your Bitcoin, and if we get enough Bitcoin over here, I'll go buy some Asics. But here's a pile of rocks. Okay, I'm gonna hand them to you, and you're gonna hold these rocks. I'm gonna hold your Bitcoin. Probably gonna go spend it on a bunch of Asics, and you know whether or not it's all spent on Asics, you'll never know because I'll never have to prove that. But let's just say I'll use most of the Bitcoin to go buy some Asics, and when the Asics start generating money, I'll pay you out some money based on how much of my rocks you're holding. This is IceRock mining, and when they say that you're owning a share of the business, a share of the co-ownership, highly, I would say that's false advertising. I would say that's lying. Now, one thing that most people who are investing this aren't considering is that unless the company actually legally ties the hardware to IceRock mining, you not only can you not go after them because it's an unregulated market and they're using their white paper to basically put up a disclaimer saying that you can never go after them legally because you don't have any legal footing against them. On top of that, they're saying they could easily just have the ASICs purchased by another company. So if the ASICs are purchased by a company called, let's say, Bob's company, then if you go after IceRock mining, they won't have any property for you to be able to reclaim using your funds. Now, you'll probably be able to reclaim some of their financial holdings if they have any in the company, but you know, for the most part, with this type of market, the chances of you reclaiming funds are like non-existent for like 10,000 reasons. But you know, I know I know that sounds really negative and dooming and glooming, but that's the reality of these types of businesses, and you should know what you're getting into from my perspective. So that's the white paper. You can read through it. It's in multiple Englishes. It's in multiple languages. But yeah, that's their white paper. Bonuses, right? So this is their ICO bonuses. I have some opinions about that. And then we go down to their frequently asked questions here. And they answer a lot of questions. This is pretty straightforward. I didn't see any super red flags in there. But we're going to, yeah, they see the 50% and yeah, so that's basically their bonuses. And let's kind of like flow through this real quick. IceRock mining, that's their tagline. Passive income, that's not a lie. $3.4 million is how much they've raised so far, and they're aiming for 13.5 million. Keep in mind they've got months and months to hit this goal, so they're not, it's only been 1 month that they've been actually launching the real pre-sale for all of the normal folk. The private pre-sale for people who knew about this beforehand, or so someone might imagine, but it's actually worse than that. As we go down, they accept Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is how many days left. You have a little under a week to get involved with this project if you want. They have the social medias here. I didn't click their Facebook and their Twitter accounts. I only joined their Telegram group and to talk to their support team there, and I have a lot to say about that. They have YouTube videos of their mining facility. I do believe that their mining facility works. I do believe that they are holding the equipment there or a place very similar like it. You know, they could be showing you one of the military bunkers. It doesn't mean that that's the same military bunker where they're holding all of it. So anyone who's worried about a security risk, if these guys are smart enough to create this type of platform, they're probably smart enough to hold or secure their their hardware and their machinery, because it takes a sophisticated mind to put together the things that I'm about to get into. And you probably don't see that now because you're probably thinking, oh, they're just hooking up a mining machine and that's all they had to do. There's a lot more sophisticated works going on here, from my opinion. But yeah, they show their faces, they show the facility. They've got nothing to hide because they're in an unregulated market. They're in a country that isn't prosecuting people over cryptocurrency. So I don't imagine that Kazakhstan is really going after fraudsters, manipulators, the way that the U.S. is going after them aggressively. So they're not worried about showing their faces. They don't really care what the U.S. has to say, or other countries. It's going to take joint agencies to really track down anyone for doing anything wrong. But as we go down, we have mission statements and such tidbits of info. IceRock Mining is here to bring Bitcoin mining to the investment world. What they're basically meaning is that they're going to be bringing dividends to through ASIC miners to people who hold their coins over the internet. IceRock mining facility is located. This is where they show a little screenshot of their mining facility, and they talk about how cold it is and their low cost of energy. Apparently, they secured 3 cents per kilowatt hour. Apparently, and I would say that's doable, I guess. And here's a picture with Amir Nest, their PR manager, and I think this guy's name is Mir. I keep forgetting that CEO's name. Malik, sorry, Malik. That's his name. So that's Malik and Amir there with John McAfee. You take that as you will. People have personal opinions about John McAfee. Yeah, so they have a team of 12. I'm inclined to believe that because of their first ICO that they raised, which was IceRock 2, and I'll get into that. I have a lot to say about that as well. This is them in front of their facility, holding up the thumb. Good sign. And this is more screenshots of the facility and then talking about their economic pros to their business versus others. As we move down, this is their operating summary. So whatever's generated from those ASICs will be divided in this way. So you've got 50% of the of 100% of what's generated. Let's say it's $2 million a month. 50% of that is going to be split between all coin holders. So you'd say, okay, what am I getting monthly? You split that by 50%, basically divide it by 2, and then say, okay, how many coins are circulating supply, and then that's what this amount. So if it's 2 million, that means 1 million is here, and if there's 23 million coins, 16 million coins, whatever amount of coins are in circulating supply, then this revenue stream is split between all of those holders. This is very important to remember. I have to say that each one of these comes with a set of bad news. Now, so when we look at the first one, we're just going to go through it and we're going to go over why these things are bad. But first you have to understand how it works. So 100% of the monthly revenue from the ASICs is split between 50% here between all the coin holders, 20% is put back into the reinvestment phase, 20% is put into costs of like maintenance, and 10% is given back to the team because they're the team that's managing this project. They mine the profitability in BTC. They use Shapeshift to convert BTC to Ethereum, and they use a smart contract on the Ethereum blockchain to issue out payments accordingly. Now, as you go down, they have a couple of advantages. Some are advantages, some aren't. So no cost for active cooling. I'm not sure how truthful this statement could be because I don't personally own an ASIC. I know they generate heat, but for most mining farms, they do probably spend a certain amount of money on keeping the temperature of the room or the facility down to a cool to prevent the hardware from, destroying itself too fast. Because the cost is also reflected in the machinery's deterioration rate. So them putting the machines in a cold, cool cave actually does go as an advantage for them. Cheap electricity, so they claim 3 cents per kilowatt hour. That is a relatively good electricity cost in the U.S. Depending on which company you're with. Most of you in the U.S. you're probably familiar with a company called Edison. They charge extreme rates, like 16, 25, up to 35 cents per kilowatt hour, depending on what state you live in. Like the cost for electricity could be through the roof. Most people in the U.S. throughout the US are used to like 10 cents or 12 cents per kilowatt hour, but what most people don't know is that the more electricity used, the more the company charges you. So when you use X amount of electricity, you get put in a new tier of electricity usage. So every month, that's basically what these types of companies do. So them getting 3 cents static, we can only hope that it's static. Some companies will upcharge you if you use more and more electricity. So there's that. There's no rent. Apparently the facility is owned by Malik. I'm inclined to believe this. I have no reason to dispute this, but you know, it's unverifiable. They have an advisor team, that's not an advantage. Lifetime profits, that's not an advantage. An opportunity to gain multiples of your investment, that's not an advantage. This is speculation. This may not last for life, and having an advisor team is probably something that every company should have. I wouldn't consider these three things advantages. The calculator, this calculator is actually, I know I've said this before, but this calculator is 1/4 of what you're actually getting. So it's actually less than 1/4 now that Bitcoin has gone down a little bit. But in their calculator, they're claiming that this was made when Bitcoin was worth $14,000 per coin. And keep in mind, just look closely. They're saying that the cost of ASIC is 2,200 and that the hash rate is 13.5 terahashes. So when Bitcoin was 14K, they used these specifics. Now, because you probably don't understand this math, and to be honest with you, I don't understand what these things mean because the way that they explain their calculations is ugly. But if you want to just do the numbers yourself, we're just going to run a quick little example so that you can see. So you pop on a new tab here, and we type in Bitmain, which is the company that produces the Asics, the Antminers, and S9 miner. We type that in Google, right? And we get a website here, shop.bitmain.com. This is one of the largest ASIC producing, if not the largest currently ASIC producing companies out there. And I'm not saying these are the best ASICs, but this happens. These statistics happen to match up with what this calculator is using. So that's why we're pulling this up. And we're also going to pop open what to mine. And for what to mine, I have two links here, yeah, for the ASIC calculator. So on what to mine, let me pull up, this is still loading for some reason. There we go. So let's see, the Bitcoin miner here. Let's see if I can get access to that. And then we go to what to mine, we click their ASIC page. Right, so when you get to what to mine, they're basically telling you about the GPU miners first. That's the first page they direct you to. If you want to get access, you have to get access to the ASIC calculator. So you come down here and you click Bitcoin, because that's what they're going to be mining. The SHA-256 algorithm. And what to mine gives you like some default calculations here to consider based on just like a default average of what people usually might put in or whatever. So you can come here, you can click their Bitcoin miner here, and it will load up their what Bitmain sells. Now let's keep notice of the cost and the terahashes. Remember when we came over here and we said it's 2,300 per ASIC and it's 13.5 terahashes? Well, that's about $2,300 and that's about 3.5 terahashes. So I think we're right on track with the starting portion of their calculations. So we're not going to try to figure out what the rest of this is actually talking about because it's a bunch of jargon. But we're just going to do it ourselves from the basic understanding of what they're using. And the one thing about this page is you can come down here and click their specifications, and this is really important because you have to know what power consumption these devices have. As you can see, there's different models, 11.5 terahashes, yada yada. We're looking for 13.5, which is right here. So this says that the wattage is 323, and this matters for power consumption. So we come to what to mine, and we put in, instead of 1370, we put in 1323, and instead of 14,000 hashes, we put in 13,500 hashes, which gigahashes, which is essentially 13.5 terahash. and we put the hardware cost at 2,300. Doesn't really matter what the hardware cost is. I guess it does matter what the hardware cost is. And then we put the 3 cents per kilowatt hour here, and we do a pool fee. I guess we're not going to do a pool fee here. We're just going to leave that blank for I know a lot of people use pool fees and they're usually like 1%, but we're just going to keep it at 0 for now. And I think that's enough to calculate what one of these can produce. Okay, so let me see if I did this right. Calculate. There we go. I forgot to add 0 for the 3 cents. So hash rate, 3.5 terahashes. Power, we have electricity costs, we have the hardware costs, we left the pool fee blank, and now we're earning about $340. Now a couple of days ago this was at like $400. It varies, but just know that although Bitcoin will fluctuate hundreds of dollars, if not, thousands of a thousand or more every other couple of days, it will fluctuate. It's not particularly considered bullish. It depends on how you really watch Bitcoin from the start of time. I really think that everyone should be watching Bitcoin from the start and look at it now. And then, whether or not your opinions on whether it's bearish or bullish should depend on, I would say, you could say this week it was bullish or this week it was bearish, but overall Bitcoin is still up considerably high from where it was last year. And the problem with the team and their calculations is that they're using projections on an annual basis. When they're providing these sorts of calculations, they're saying, well, Bitcoin did this last year, so Bitcoin should do this again this year. And there's a lot of things I have to say about that, but I'm try to get back to the calculations here. So we're just going to do at today's rate. If this company was up and running right now, if they had all of their Asics up and running right now for the amount of money they're trying to produce for this ICO, this is the price per Asic that we'd be seeing on a monthly scale. So the company is planning to have 5,000 Asics by July. July is about 4 to 5 months from now. By then, Bitcoin's price will be a different price than what it is now. We can guarantee on that. And we can guarantee that new Asics will most likely be out. When I say guarantee, it's like a 99% chance that whatever the price of Bitcoin is now will be drastically different, because every month in crypto is like a year in crypto, or a year in real life outside of the crypto market. Now, I'm not saying that the price will be good or bad. I'm just saying it's not going to be probably not going to be sitting at this exact dollar amount. It could be $1,000 less or $10,000 more. But what we don't know, or what we can't foresee, is the technology behind Bitcoin and how ready it will be in about 4 to 5 months to support mass adoption and large-scale transaction speed. Large-scale transactions, because when we saw it reach 20K, we saw a lot of problems with transactions. And I'll probably have to make a video on Lightning and SegWit adopted wallets to help you understand why that really doesn't seem possible at this point in time. It's kind of grim for Bitcoin. But whether or not my personal opinions are what they are, at the end of the day, this company has a personal opinion, and I'm here to criticize that. Now, their calculations are that this is basically these type of prices are, if Bitcoin's basically around $40,000, because they're about 4 times higher than the calculations of what we see when we run the numbers, and this is the calculations we have so far. So one ASIC generating $341 at today's rate a month. That's per ASIC. Now they're planning on having around 5,000 ASICs in operation, and that's if they manage to raise that $13.5 million. So what this means, and the amount of money that they have here, this $13.5 million and that ASIC, 5,000 ASICs, correlates with how much space they have. So they say how much space they have in their mining facility to house these machines. So they're asking for this amount of money to have, because they have this amount of space to store everything. Now, just keep that in mind moving forward. Now, they already have 300 ASICs, and I imagine that's from IceRock 1, and I have a lot to say about that. But 5,000 Asics is their goal to have by July. So whatever money you put in there, you're probably not going to see your first payment until the end of July, maybe even early August at the latest. Um, that's 4 or 5 months from now. We see here that $341 is generated a month. Now let's say we wanted to multiply this by 5,000. All we'd have to do is take these values and multiply them by 5,000 apiece. So we take this, x 5,000, and then we get a value. And then we take this, because the power consumption is also the same. And we take this, x by 5,000, and we get a value. Okay, so this is our power consumption. And this is our terahashes, 67,000 terahashes. Let me erase that. All of that gibberish from Google. That's a lot. Hold on, let me copy it again. I don't know why I copied all that gibberish. Let me double check, make sure. Okay, 67,000 terahashes, and then we have the power consumption, and the electricity cost stays the same. Hardware cost, we just take that, multiply that by 5,000, and we should reach about 11 something million. Yeah, so it's really close to what they're trying to hit. The money matches up for how many Asics they're trying to have in operation. And then we can calculate, it's going to be around less than 2 million, I think. Yeah, there we go. So that's really low. For 5,000 Asics to be generating every month. I mean, and it's whatever the current rate is, right? But at the same time, for the amount of investors that could be potentially investing in this, it's not a lot of money. But we take this $1.6 million. Let me close down this. We take this $1.6 million, and this is how much money is generated, and on a monthly scale. And your payments are going to happen on a monthly scale. So what we do is we take the amount of coins divided by, and keep in mind that the amount of coins in circulating supply will vary. If all the coins aren't sold, they'll be burned. So what they're saying is that in total there could be 23 million coins in circulating supply, but if the ICO sells out in the next 5 days, which, who knows, there's no way of really knowing exactly how many coins are going to be in circulating supply, but let's just say that there could be a number of between 16 to 23 million, and the reason why I say that is because of when we could potentially suspect all this to be sold out. The reason why this bonus affects the circulating supply is because if I pay $100 now, I get an extra 45 coins. So if everyone buys in at this rate, then they get a bunch more coins. So like their goal is to hit $13.5 million. They don't care how or when they hit the 13.5 million, as long as they do. So the bonus changing is kind of annoying because it confuses some people, but basically they get an extra 45 coins if they invest $100 now, but if they invest later on, they only get 5 extra coins. And this means there could be extra coins in circulating supply or less coins in circulating supply. So you better hope that more people buy way later on, real late, so that there's less coins in circulating supply. Otherwise, the amount of money that you get dished out is going to be less and less. Like, because if everyone's getting a bunch of free coins, if everyone buys out through this 45% tier and everyone's walking around with extra 45 coins, then the circulating supply is going to be at the maximum if they hit the 13.5 million in this tier. But it goes to say that I believe it's going to finish off somewhere between now and 25%. That's my projection. But I guess for the example of this, example of this data, we'll just use 23 million because we don't know what that variable is going to be. So 23 million coins, because this is what their website says. What they were planning before they launched all this. So $13.5 million, 5,000 Asics, 23 million coins. Let's look at it. So this is how much money is generated a month. We got that from What's Mine. We know that this is what at today's rates at this very second. So we take that and we divide it by 23 million coins. Hit enter, and this is what we're actually gaining on a monthly basis. So if all of this money is divided per coin, each coin will gain about 7 cents a month. So if you put $100 in, go down here, if you put $100 in, you'll get 145 coins. That bonus is there, but it won't always be there. Those who purchase into the project after the ICO ends, they won't be getting bonuses. They'll be getting whatever they pay for. So what this means is that for now you're getting a bonus, but when you start exchanging this on the open market, it's going to be a totally different story of your gains. So let's take this and let's take this this value here, this fractional 7 cents, and we're going to multiply. We have 145 coins here. Erase that. X to 145 coins, and that's basically $10.69 a month. That's what your monthly ROI is going to be. So what they're saying here is completely false. So they're saying that a month you're going to make $28, and what you're seeing here is that you're only making $10.69. So let's take this fractional amount as well and see, take this and copy this. Let's take this fractional amount as well and times it by 4, because they're saying that you're going to make your money back in 4 months. Well, let's see, if you were to gain this rate for 4 months, how much money would you have? $42. So let's see here. Nope, you put in $100. Let's see if you, let's see, what is that? 7 months? Nope, still not there. Let's try 12 months. Nope, it's under about 9 months, I would say. It's probably going to break even at 11, I think. A little over 11. Oh, no, 10. I think about 10 months then? Yeah, 10 months. Okay, so it's going to take you 10 months for RRI at current market value, except for the 4 months here. Now, the rates at what we see these, you know, this can vary. If there's less coins in circulating supply, then there's going to be more profitability to be gained. But the reality is that the circulating supply is still going to be in the millions. That's the reality. The circulating supply is going to be in the millions no matter how you cut it, because they need to raise $13.5 million. And if they raise that money sooner, you're in a worse situation. If they raise that money later on, you're in a better situation. If you trust their system, essentially. But there's no way you're making your money back in 4 months. And the only way that this could possibly occur is if you know, the new Asics that come out are like crazy good, because then you could see some profits for some, you know, a certain amount of months. But new Asics means more difficulty for Bitcoin, because while those Asics are mining at a much more higher terahash rate and pushing the difficulty up, you know, it's like a growth spurt. It shoots out and then it comes back. You know, it just reverts back to lower and lower tiers. Like mining is just going to continuously raise the difficulty. So depending on what Samsung released for their Asics, you know, you could see meaningful returns, but those meaningful returns will not last forever. They will not forever upward trend. This upward trend will last for a short while, and then detrend or devalue over time, because mining profitability is not forever upward trending, because it's against a finite source of value. That being said, Bitcoin's price could also affect what your profitability is here, but for you to be able to see the type of returns they're saying here, we're looking at a 20, maybe even a $30,000 to $40,000 Bitcoin. You know, this is extremely pricey Bitcoin here. Now, that's the problem with their calculations. The numbers don't add up at current rates. They're off by a large margin. But and that's also including the bonus. Okay, so you know, when that bonus ends and someone invests, you know, what they amount to get. Like, we could just go back here. Let's go back a couple of pages, and let's see, for the people who are actually trading these coins on the exchange and not getting any bonuses, what is their $100 going to look like? Well, that means that just for every dollar at one coin, and it's going to be decided by the free market, by the way. So I don't suspect these coins to be sold at a rate that, is more valuable than what they produce on a month-to-month scale. So if someone spends $100, they're going to get 100 coins, and that's fractionally different. It's like a 3 cents different there. But on the monthly scale, your ROI is thrown off by, it could be a month or two. That's basically the problem. Now we're talking about a 4 to 5 month return on investment, and for the calculator, but in reality it's like a 10, 11, 12 month, ROI, which is realistic. But, that's the situation, and that's how their calculator works. Now, as we go down through the rest of the website, we have their dates and their information on when everything began for their ICO. It's not that important. We go down here and we're going to talk a bit about the team here. So we have Malik, Mikhail, and Diaz. And my problem with all three of these guys, and the other, the larger problems is that, these other people could be fake, because we have none of their social media, and they most likely are fake. We know so far that at least this guy is fake, and you can find his images on reverse Google searching. So we know that this guy's fake. And whether or not these other guys are fake are difficult to find out. I can tell you that, just let me break down the team real quick. So Malik, Mikhail, and Diaz, these are the Kazakhstanian dudes. And I'm not so sure about this guy, but I know these three are a close-knit group, these three right here. Now, the second group is Amir's group. So we have Amir Ness, who appears here as an investor, as one of their team members. And Amir Ness also appears here as their advisor. He's part of the advisory team. So why is Amir Ness separated as a group? Well, the reason why he's separated is because Yaniv Matalan, or whatever his name is, or Liad Paisik, whatever this guy's name is, this guy and this guy are actually part of Amir's team. I believe that he employs this one, and I believe that he employs this one. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I had to do due diligence on Amir, and the reason why I chose to do due diligence on Amir is because when I went to YouTube and I found the link, I think it's called, what's it called? Ice Rock Mining interview, and then Anna's on there, and then we have some comments in the comment section below on that. So it kind of prompted me to do some research on Amir. And you can find these videos, they're not hidden or anything. It's actually uploaded by their channel. One of the problems with these videos is that they're thrown off like they're unbiased interviews, like from outside sources, but really the interviews on the channel that are carried out are interviews from people who are part of the investment team. So Anna and Amir interview, they shouldn't call this interview, this is more of a promotional piece. So anyone who doesn't understand, Anna is the head of the admin group on the Telegram, and she's a really nice person, really kind. I don't think she's really privy to what's really going on with this company. But Anna is part of our head admin on the Telegram group, and Amir is the head of the PR managing team. So if you come down here, the first comment I saw was, I almost invested 20K, but after I knew that your main investor Amir is a Zionist from Israel, I changed my mind. Now personally, I don't really care about someone's personal political standing to that extent, but it prompted me to do research on Amir. And what that led me to was a series of things, because as you come down here, Amir does not mention his other social media accounts. So I was looking for his other social media accounts and ended up finding his Facebook account, which you can all pretty much easily find. It's not going to be that difficult. And as you search through the Facebook account, you can see some of his history, and most of his history isn't blockchain or crypto. I would say that from an online perspective, his social media got into crypto maybe within the last 2 years of his life. Now, how long he's been following crypto, can never know, but his social media doesn't reflect, just like with the rest of these, and we're going to get to them, his social media doesn't reflect his experience. Um, I would say that Amir's experience is more than baking, and yes, he does have ties to Israel. I wouldn't be surprised if he's Jewish. And based on what I found when I looked into him, and I went as deep as anyone could find out about this particular human being. But the one thing that I found that was troubling is that he has a website here that's not mentioned unless you search or just happen to type in his name on .com. But the reason why this is important is because it proves that these other team members are actually just Amir's employees. And so we go in here and pulls up amirnest.com, and it's loading up right now. Yeah, just give it a second to load here. And I have a couple of other topics I'm going to talk about here that I have all listed here because there's a lot to say. Load. Holy crap, this website takes forever. But basically, I went through his past, went through his social media, found information about him and what he's been a part of and how long he's been posting about crypto. And the comment on that YouTube page is that he's a Zionist from Israel. I'm not sure. I wouldn't go that far to say he's a Zionist, but some of his content on his Facebook does seem to suggest that narrative. But you can't really say that someone's political beliefs 2 years ago reflect who they are. I don't know why this page isn't loading anymore. Let me try again. Oh, there it is. I think it's loading now. It takes a long time to load. Is it loading? Let's give it a second here. It is not loading properly. It's taking forever. Well, while that loads, we're going to talk about Malik, Mikhail, and Diaz. Just like with Amir, the amount of experience that they claim to have doesn't match up. The only person that matches up is Malik. I think that, oh, Amir's, okay, load it up. Well, I'll just finish this real quick. Amir's knowledge doesn't match up, or I don't think it's misleading, I should say. I don't think it's misleading, I should say that Malik, not Malik, but Mikhail and Diaz experiences, there's no real history or anything to suggest they have the amount of experience that they have. And this is the core problem. So when you read Malik's bio, it says he has 10 years of work in the US, in Kazakhstan, in IT, software, and retail development. This might be true. The owner of the largest Apple dealer in Kazakhstan, this I believe is true. This is actually in his LinkedIn, and has 5 years of experience in the field of blockchain. Now when he says 5 years experience, it means he's been probably using crypto for 5 years. I don't think that he writes any software or speaks at public events or understands or builds anything with the blockchain technology. Probably knows as much as any other casual investor. That's the feel that I got from reading through his social medias. Now, Mikhail, his social medias are very bare. His Instagram is very, very short, and his LinkedIn doesn't really provide any information to back up that he has 10 years of experience in development and software development. Like I don't get how we get that from his LinkedIn. They're talking about they have 10 years of experience in this thing, but there's no projects, there's no history, there's nothing there. It's all like, it's like if I said if I had 15 years of experience in media marketing, and you're like, okay, so what projects did you work on? And you can't find any information about that because it's not on any of their social medias, and that's the only presence that you can find out anything about these guys. Diaz, I think Diaz is the most transparent one in the bunch in terms of being able to point out that he doesn't have the experience that he has. First of all, it says here that he's a co-owner of a media agency. What is that media agency called? Where can you find it? And Diaz, I would say for this company is like the front runner of all of the social media, all of the managing. Basically, how I see it is that Malik is money bags. Mikhail is the engineer to an extent of whatever amount of engineering experience you need to set up a mining facility. And then Diaz is the the ICO, social media, person who manages all of the support information, like from a managing perspective. But then they also got people to offer their energy and their time to do support because they weren't going to spend money on a legitimate support team that was getting paid real money, unfortunately. Like for instance, if you go to the video that's up online with Anna, Fernandra, all of the admin team members, they're basically other investors and they're investing in this project, and because they've got money in this project, they're appointed admins by Diaz here. He handpicked them, I guess, and they're not getting paid actual money for their services. So for the funds that are issued out to the team, and we can see this in operation summary here, for the funds that are issued out to the team, Anna, Fernandra, and all of the other admins that you see in the Telegram group, they don't get any of this money. And this is a large portion of the money, and they are using their time and energy. They're basically the support team that the company didn't hire. And, although they may have their faults, I'm not speaking about Anna or Fernandra, the other guys, although they may have their faults, they should be getting paid. And one person, as you come down here, Haydar is actually part of their team. So, and Haydar is extremely aggressive, rude, and personally, from my experience, this is the experience that I had with him and others. He's very rude and doesn't have any patience and is often to ban people. And most of their support team is horrible, except for Anna and Fernandra. In my experience, they're kind of chill and professional, and even Amir is pretty professional. I think it's because he has as much business experience as he has, but Haydar, not at all. And it makes a little bit sense because he's actually part of their team. So theoretically, that means that all the money that's going into this project actually goes back into his hands. He's not just a rinky-dink investor. The other ones, though, that got promoted to admin, I don't think any of these funds are going dished out to them. So what I see here is Malik is the money bags, Mikhail is the engineer, and Diaz is the overlapping leader of the entire ICO management process. So he's making sure that funds keep coming in. He's the marketing guy. But his experience of 7 years of social media marketing, I'm not sure how we get that. He graduated from a university in 2013, but he's 27 years old, so I don't know how he got 7 years 7 years of experience while he was working at. Let me pop open this thing if I can. Oh, don't tell me it's going to ask me to log in. It's going to ask me to log in. No, it didn't. There we go. Come on, load. Yeah, so we have him working at in 2016, 2017, working as a marketing manager at an automotive company, and graduated just from the university in 2013. So about 5 years ago, he was still in studying, and somehow managed to get 7 years of marketing managing experience in that amount of time. I don't know, it doesn't really add up for me, if you ask me. I think he has a lot less experience than what he's letting on, but for this type of field you don't need like expert experience. So there's that. You can try to find any of these other guys who don't have social medias, but I'm not going to bother. All I know is that Moneybags, engineer, marketing and managing, and Amir is PR. So he's like the face that you see, and then behind the face you've got these guys who actually work for Amir, and whether or not they're real, it's up for debate. So if you come to amirness.com, back on Amirness, we have the people here that I was speaking about. Now, I don't think Samir is, whoever Samir is, I don't think that's part of the team. Let me make sure. Samir. Nope, Samir is not on the team. So if we go to amirness.com, we pop on, there's a couple of things that are kind of troubling. And this is all just me doing my research and providing this back to you, and hopefully by the end of this video you know everything that I know and more, and you can provide some insight on your findings if you have any. So Samir, this is him. He's part of Amir Ness's team. They call this blockdesk.io, but it's not the actual .com name. So I'm trying to figure that out. It doesn't make any sense. And then we have Liad Paisik, and this is his bio. As you can see, he is part of Amir's team. And then we have Yaniv, who's part of Amir's team. And Amir has ties to Israel. I'm just going to assume that he's Jewish. And these names sound Jewish. So, these guys could just be business partners of Amir who, are in business with him, or they could just be flat out employees. But yeah, this just looks like a quick up and starter, throw it out there type company. And if you go to the pricing plan page, which is a link here, you can see a couple of interesting things. So they're a PR management team. Yeah, we already know that. But they're here offering bulk mining contracts through Ice Rock Mining. It's a bit fishy. They say here that they have a joint venture with Ice Rock Mining, and honestly, this should be probably listed on Ice Rock Mining, that they have connections to Amir's PR company in that capacity, and I don't think that we have anything here. Blockdesk.io, AmirNest.com. I don't think it's here. Yeah, we don't see any of that here. So yeah, this is something I just had to find through research, and they're offering contracts that start at 10,000. When you pop open this link numbers, this is a blank Google sheet. There's nothing there. But basically, they're offering contracts, and this is only going to be able to be possible either through ROC 1 or ROC 2 currencies. So unless they plan on shaving off some of the money that they get paid as team members off to these contracts, and I don't know, it doesn't make any sense for them to be offering this contract deal when they said in that interview with Anna and Amir that they wouldn't be offering contracts. So why is this up? Seems strange. And then this is probably the largest red flag, is that they have a white label exchange, and you can see the demo here. But basically they have the technical understanding to create an exchange. And it's not that difficult to create an exchange, but if they're having a coin, you better hope and pray that the exchange is not like some newbie random rinky-dink exchange, and that it's like a prominent exchange that everyone widely uses. Because if they control the exchange and they are the issuers of your payment, that can be really, really bad recipe for centralization and control. And this is what their little demo exchange works like. So they're basically providing these types of services to people to be able to buy and trade cryptos. And that's kind of what they're going to be doing with ROC 2. I just hope that it's not on their personally owned exchange. And then they have a $297 membership fee. So that's basically Amir Ness's whole get up and his team. You can see it, and I'll put the links in the description below. I have all the links listed here, so I can remember to go through all this and show this information. I was going to do this all in editing, but it's too much to talk about, and this is only going to matter for the people who are highly invested. So let's recap what we've gone through. We've gone through what the company is about, how much money you're actually going to get versus their projected returns, and we've dug into the team pretty deep, and we've gone through the white paper and their contracts, and you should have a firm understanding of everything. One things that I want to bring into account now are kind of what I suspect is going to happen, and some things unrelated to Ice Rock Mining in terms of ROC 2. So we're going to close down this stuff and then we're going to come to here, and this is the Ice Rock 2 thread, Bitcoin thread, when they had made the announcement. So in here, you can see this post was created by DS Kermanov, and in here, he's going through the project. This page, yeah, there we go, loads there. So this is where he's basically screen capping the website and put it into the announcement page, and talking about what the project's about to get people invested. Basically, when people launch ICOs, they go to the Bitcoin forum threads to launch their announcements. And if we go back further enough, there's a page in here of people, there's pages of here people asking what's going to happen with their Ice Rock 1 coins. Now, if you go, or if you've been in their Telegram group, they have stated many times that they already have 300 Asics there that came from a separated source. And I was like, well, I was thinking like, how did they already get 300 Asics? And what is Rock 1? Like, how does this all tie together? Why is there Rock 2? Like, I always thought like Rock 2 is such a stupid name. Like, if this is the first time doing this, why is it called 2? And it's like, oh, there's a Rock 1. Okay, so what I did was I went to etherscan.io and I pulled up Rock 1 and I pulled up Rock 2. So just keep in mind, guys, that this part is going to be with some facts and then mixed with some speculation. Okay, so my speculation is my personal opinion, and I'm just trying to use common sense, but you come to your conclusions. So they made this announcement. I tried for the life of me to find any digital content on Ice Rock Mining ICO1, and it's like, it's impossible to find. It's impossible. It's like they've erased it from the internet if it was up. I couldn't find it, but I know it existed. And I know they issued these coins and sold them. So this is Rock Coin, and you can see the logo. This is the Ice Rock team here. This is their ERC20 token. This is their smart contract. You can see it here. Oh, it's not loading. There we go. This is their smart contract. This is how many coins they have in supply. Look at the value per coin. The coin was launched, and everyone's supposed to be receiving their own payments by now, but the value of the coin has no value, and it doesn't have a value because it's not being openly traded. It's a worthless coin. It's actually worth nothing. Now, as we go through, we can see that that there's transfers occurring on the chain, certain values of the coin here, and then we go here and we see that there's a certain amount of people holding the tokens. So there's 21% of the tokens are being held by this address, and as we go down, more and more holders are described here by percentage base. So what happened with this coin is that they launched an initial ICO, gathered the funds, and use those funds, I can assume, to purchase the facility, to get the Asics up and running, all of that. That I bet you if we do all of this and calculate how many Asics you could possibly have from this type of this investment, it's probably going to equal up to around 300 Asics. What they say they already have operational. And so they basically, this is the second time they've done this, and this is like a repeat offender in my opinion. They did it the first time, everyone got their tokens, and it went nowhere. This is it's pretty sad that they're doing the same thing all over again, and they were so lazy they just called it Rock 2. This is called Rock, and this is called Rock 2, and they're doing this on a larger scale. So now they can do it even better than the first time before. And so now we have a lot more people who are involved because, they've been able to do a lot more. They raised so much funds, they're able to do more. And now, now what they're doing is, for the people of Rock 1, right? People of Rock 1 are in the Telegram and stuff, and they're asking, see what's going on. And basically, you can convert your Rock token to Rock 2 if you want, and or you can just sell them back to the company. So the company is saying, and just like keep in mind, I'm trying to break this down. The company is saying, hey, we're going to give you this worthless currency, and you're going to give us your Bitcoin, and we're going to go out and get these mining machines, and we're going to pay you some money, okay? All right, and the money's not going to be great because Bitcoin's not that profitable right now for Asics, but we're going to pay you, and you're going to be getting money. Now, you can sell us back your coins now because, you probably don't want to hold them and not making that much money, so you can just sell them back to them. We'll buy them. I mean, we have the money to buy them back now because we have the Asics. You all got together, you funded our Asics, now we have your Asics, and now we can buy back your coins. And if you don't want to buy back the coins, just transfer your coins into the new currency if you want. Think about that. Think about that. Rock 1 and Rock 2 are exactly the same. They're exactly the same. They're no different. Same business model, same team. It's going to be the same outcome. The coin's going to be worthless, and everyone who's holding the coin is going to try to get out of it. Now, this Rock 1 isn't held on any exchange, but they plan on putting Rock 2 on an exchange, and I honestly, with the amount of dividends that they're paying out people, you can't expect the coin's going to be worth anything. It's going to be very, 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 very worthless. It's going to be worth whatever the coin can produce on a monthly basis, or maybe even a daily basis per coin. So you're not going to get your monies back. You're not going to get your money's worth back. The only way that you're going to get your money, your worth back is if you're buying up all the coins like the company. Because if the company can go back and buy up all the coins from the user, if the company can go back and buy all the coins up from the user, then they have X amount of coins in their one address, so they don't have to worry about anything. They could just go into the exchange and say, hey, I'm selling, you're selling coins, I'll buy them all up. They're buying with the funds that you helped them raise. It's like you're just making them a well in their own supply. It's a horrible system to get involved with. It's a horrible deal. It's a horrible deal. Banks use these type of tactics all the time. And it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me because if you go through Amir's LinkedIn, he has a bunch of information and stuff, like always liking posts from banks, is like super into banking systems. And then if we go over here, if we go to Rock2 and we go to token holders here, look at this, 74% all held in one address, almost 1.5 million coins held here. And this is what I'm assuming. This is my speculations. But this right here, this is Malik, Mikhail, and Diaz right here. This is what I personally believe, because the private pre-sale, no one had to prove that this 1.5 million coins were sold to multiple people. They just have to prove that it all went to one place. That's all. That's the only thing we could prove, that it went to one place. And the 1.5 million coins, well, it's about 1.5 million coins in total. Because no proof, they could have just transferred all the coins out of the circulating supply and put it into their pocket. So let's kind of like think about this for a minute, guys. If the team is saying that they're getting 10% of whatever is monthly generated, and then they've got 1.5 million coins, that means they're getting a percentage of what everyone's getting. They're also getting a percentage as team members. And if you go all the way down here and you look up how the money's divvied up, you can see they're getting 5% here. And I can tell you that this, at current market value, this is about $1 million by the ICO, by the time of the first payment from the ICO funds in the first month, and then it's about $1 million following every month. If you just go through the numbers and you added up what 10% of that of the monthly revenue is going to be. We already did what the monthly revenue is going to be when we divide it by 50% and we divide it by every other coin. Well, what's 10% of that monthly revenue, and what's 5% of the ICO funds? And then we do 1.5 million coins, roughly about 1.5 million coins, which is 74%. You know this is the developing team. This wouldn't make sense for anyone else to spend $1.5 million just to have a bunch of useless coins that aren't going to mean anything for 4 to 5 months. This is the team. And what's stopping them from sending coins to their own pockets? They're only saying that the coins are worth $1 because they want people to pay the $1. What's stopping them from giving? They created the currency. What's stopping them from keeping a share of it? And this is the reality. They can either buy you out using the funds that you helped them raise, or they can just sit and get all the money. They'll be making $1 million a month, and you guys are helping them do it, and you're getting terrible, terrible offers, terrible deals. And this 6%, you know what this 6% most likely is? This is most likely Amir right here, in my opinion. Because if you look at every other person, like every other person, this is all zeros. It's all zeros. There's no moving average here except for less than 1%. These are outstanding, positions. There's 2 individual groups on the team. Most of the people are fake or don't have social medias, and we have 2 individual large scaling percentages. And then if you go to Amir's site, I believe that they accept, in terms of value, currency, they accept some of the crypto as payment for their services. So, I mean, super shady. Look, I can't prove that this is them. But I hope that we can all come to a common sense agreement that if we had the opportunity to do something like this and could be gaining $1 million a month, why wouldn't we do it? Everyone's got their own way to hustle, their own way to make money. What would be stopping us from doing something like this if we were in their position? Do you not want to make $1 million a month? Do you think that they're not capable of seeing that this is what they can make? They're using your money to put them in a better position to earn more money over time, and you're getting nothing. You're getting your returns back in a year from now. They're getting their returns back the moment they hit the start button, because they're getting all the hardware and they're making $1 million a month. Anyone crazy enough to invest in them is going to be left holding serious bags. Okay, so that's basically the breakdown. This whole little how the money's going to be split up and divvied up, this doesn't really have any importance. How the money's spent on equipment is not going to really matter. One thing I want to touch on is that this 20% they're talking about, I know there's going to be some people in the comments who talk about the 20%, but if you take off at current rates what this is worth, 100%, and then you divide it by 20% out of that monthly ratio, and then you factor in that each ASIC is 2,300, it's not that much money that's going back into everyone's pockets on a monthly basis. Not as much as what their calculations are showing. I guarantee you it's less than what their calculations are offering you. And the biggest problem is that this 20% dividend reinvestment, they're not specifying what this is, if this is exactly going into, every dollar is going into another ASIC, or if every dollar is going into replacement of cables, not motherboards, but cables or anything else regarding the reinvestment process of a mining facility. And then when it comes to costs and operating costs and maintenance fees, 20%, where's the details of how 20%, because that's a lot of money, 20% of what was it, 1.7 million at current rate, and they're projecting that BTC and everything else will go up. So if everything else goes up in value, then these will represent larger sums of money. How is this money actually being spent? Where's the dollar association? Why are they saying we're going to need this amount of money for, but they're not saying why they need that, and that amount of money? And then the Ice Rock team getting 10%, really all of the team members need to disclose how much money, how much coins of the circulating supply they actually have. Because if we're paying them to be the managing team and they're taking money out of the pool of investors, that's a huge conflict of interest. Why are we double, triple paying them? We're paying them from the launch of the ICO, which is here. We're paying them to manage the project, which is here. And then we're paying them, everyone else who's divvying up payments, they're in that group too, because they most likely hold coins. We need to know if they hold coins or not. But all in all, if you break it down, it's $1 million a month business that they're putting back into their own pockets between these guys. And he's going to make a pretty penny off. This is probably the most lucrative thing he's ever been a part of. So, I know I've been talking longer than over an hour, but that's basically the gist of everything I could pull up here. And this last link here was 2015. I think there's more news coming out on Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is actually pro crypto, and the problem with Kazakhstan is that their extradition laws, it's one of the countries where you can't extradite people from. So if they do anything to Americans or any other people of another country, they could basically find refuge in their own country. It's listed right here. It's Kazakhstan right here. So basically you can't even do anything legally. They're protecting themselves legally in the papers, and they're not offering you shares of security. They're going to get the stuff scot-free, and on top of that, they're located in a country where there's no extradition. So just know that no matter what happens, you'll never be able to do anything to them, and they're going to get away scot-free with everything they do. So a lot of it is bad, but at the end of the day, does the business model, is it sound? Yes, Asics can produce a lot of money. They're not going to produce as much money as they're projecting here unless a series of things happen. But at the end of the day, what we're left with is a very, very bad deal. Very, very bad deal. You should be looking for good opportunities, good deals, ways for you to get considerable gains, not pennies on the dollar. And it's the thing, like, you're not going to even see your first payment for 4 to 5 months. If I said, here, let me hold $100 for 4 to 5 months, I better be able to give you back 1,000, not 6 to 7, not $10 a month every month moving forward. It's insane. Why would you ever take that deal? And this is what they're offering you, and you're just settling it down, and you're not speaking out, and you're not holding these companies accountable. You should have an opinion about these things. You know, I can't call them a scam, but you know they're swindling people in such a way that it should be. I mean, from a government's perspective, it should be illegal. But if people are stupid enough to put money in this without doing their due diligence and looking into it, then you know some people out there say, well, they deserve to let it happen to them because it will teach them. You know, there's a circle of life when it comes to experienced investors and new investors. You know, experienced investors die off, and then new investors learn from their bad mistakes. So that's my overlapping opinion on this. I was getting a lot of information from their Telegram group until they banned me because I brought in my calculations, and they just banned me out of the group, and they also banned everyone else who spoke my name. So just be very careful. Don't really just if you say something about this video, or if you say something about me in general, they'll ban you immediately. So just be careful. They have like a no negative speaking policy about ice rock mining. Yeah, they're just not really cool on free speech, and it's because every time you say something negative, you're hurting their investment, and they're trying to get as much money out of people as they possibly can. So, you know, my opinion is to take this video, take your opinions, take your own conclusions, and send that to every single person who's in their Telegram. Get a hold of every single person who's in the Telegram. Avoid talking to any of the admins. Avoid talking to any of the managers, especially Diaz, because they will ban you like that. They banned me twice, they unbanned me, then they banned me again because I said I was going to put all of this in a video and talk about the company. So, you know, me and others at banned, we're not going to be investing in this, and we hope that you didn't invest as well, because you're most likely not going to get your money back, or at least your money's worth in a considerable amount of time. It's going to be maybe another year before you see the amount of returns that you need. So I hope this video was helpful. If you want more videos done, more deep dive research, hop into our Discord and request it, or comment what you think about this, and maybe you have some suggestions for other things. You can put that in the comments below. But it's Chris from Crypto Power Tips here, signing out.